It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Today we're going to make strawberry lover's pie using our fresh strawberries that we picked this morning and have cleaned. These few are still left to be used for some fresh eating, but we do have a nice bowl of already stemmed and washed strawberries. I also have last year's strawberry jam here that we will be using as a little bit of a glaze. Let's take a look at all the ingredients for strawberry lover's pie. For today's strawberry lover's pie, we are going to use 3 cups of fresh strawberries, 1/3 cup of strawberry jam that I made last year, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, a 1/4 cup of sugar, an 8-ounce brick of cream cheese, I'm using the 3rd fat today, 3 ounces of chocolate chips, and 1 tablespoon of butter or margarine. Also 1 pie crust that has already been baked. We're going to begin over here at the stove using a small saucepan, and into that saucepan we will put our 3 ounces of chocolate chips, about 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, and our 1 tablespoon of butter. Now, who doesn't love chocolate covered strawberries? So we're going to get that taste a little bit in this pie because we are going to drizzle this on the bottom of that pastry shell or that pie crust before we put on the strawberries. Now I'm going to want to put this on a very low heat. It's easy to burn chocolate. In fact, a double boiler is even recommended for this, but we'll just keep a close eye on it and prevent it from burning. This is going to take just a very short amount of time to melt here. I am going to want to stir with a wooden spoon to keep that chocolate from burning on the bottom. As you can see, the chocolate has pretty much already melted. I had those mini chocolate chips that don't take very long. I'm going to break up that butter a little bit because it'll melt a little faster if I help it into smaller pieces. And once that butter has melted, we'll be ready to line our pie crust with our chocolate. Now to get this chocolate into our pie crust, we're simply going to use a pastry brush to spread it around. I'm going to put almost all the chocolate into the pie crust. We'll save a little bit to drizzle on the top just to make it kind of look pretty and give it a little bit of a garnish. So I simply take my pastry brush and brush this chocolate all across the bottom of my pie shell. My pie shell, again, has already been baked following the recipe on your package or in your recipe book. Be sure to prick some holes in the bottom of that pie crust too so that it doesn't puff up while it's baking. All right, we have a nice chocolate layer. And I also like that chocolate layer because I think it kind of makes this little shell there and then the strawberries don't get soggy on the crust. So it's a nice layer of protection. This cream cheese will do a little bit of that same thing. Well, I have put the pie crust with the chocolate into the refrigerator to let that chocolate kind of make a nice shell on the bottom. We're gonna move on to our next layer, which is the cream cheese and the 1/4 cup of white sugar and the half a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to just use my hand mixer. If your cream cheese is soft enough, you could do this by hand. And mix that all together. Just that sugar sweetens up that cream cheese just a little bit. All right, let's see if we can get that out of the beaters. Just in the time it took to beat up that cream cheese, my chocolate has already set in the bottom of the pie crust. So now we're just going to scoop the next layer, that cream cheese layer, over top of the chocolate. This gives it a nice little sweetness with that sugar added to the cream cheese. And we'll just build our layers from here. Well, next we're going to arrange our strawberries on top of our pie crust. And we're going to set those with the tip or the bottom of the strawberry up. And we're just going to simply fill this pie shell using some of these nice, beautiful, fresh strawberries. All right, so we're simply going to go around in the circle and then just make another circle through the middle here until we reach the center. Look at this big berry. I think maybe we'll save that one for our center berry. We'll go ahead and put it there right now. That berry's not so nice. We'll get rid of that one. Alrighty, we're just about done filling our pie crust with strawberries. Alright, that looks to be about all we can fit in there. Maybe one more little one right there. There we go. Next thing is the jam glaze. The next step in the process is to come up with that glaze. So we've got our beautiful strawberries all arranged on there, and we are going to take 1/3 cup of jam, using strawberry jam for our strawberry pie. And you can kind of eyeball it out of that 1 cup container, or just use your measuring cup. And this time to heat this, I am going to put it in the microwave for, probably just 20-30 seconds just to soften it. All right, trying to add that drizzle of jam over the top. And get that everywhere. Oops, I lost a strawberry out. And the final touch is going to be to use that little bit of chocolate that we did not use before, and we'll put that across the top as just a nice garnish. So I'm going to reheat that chocolate and then we'll drizzle that on. So I reheated that chocolate a little bit on top of the stove, and I added a little bit of milk to it just to make it a little runnier, because it's going to be easier to kind of give it a chocolate drizzle if it's not thick. So just, a tablespoon or even less of milk into that, like 1 ounce of chocolate is all we had remaining. And now I'm able to kind of just splatter it around on top of my strawberry lover's pie. There we go. And there's our finished strawberry pie. Well, we've cut a couple slices out of this strawberry lover's pie with our cream cheese and chocolate lining the crust. And I have with me my dad, who's a real connoisseur of pies. In fact, I heard him once say there's no such thing as a bad pie, but I think we both would disagree with that there are some bad pies. But what do you think of this one? Give it a taste.
Pretty good.
What do you think of that chocolate layer on the bottom?
That's yummy.
Reminds you of chocolate-covered strawberries with that layer down there. And the strawberries are just nice and juicy, and it really is a very delicious pie. This is the first time I've ever made this one for my dad, but we might have to turn this into a June tradition. So, strawberry lover's pie, give it a try.
It's good.
Well, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, we should have another piece.
I think so too.
It was really good. The chocolate on it really added flavor to the
I know, that really made it unique, I think. We're really kind of tempted to have another piece. You're interrupting the video.
Oh, but somebody else wants a piece of pie.